All right, call this planning commission meeting of May 12th, 2025 to order at 5 p.m. Please stand for the pledge of allegiance.
Allegiance to the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Approval of the April 14th, 2025 minutes as presented.
I'll move to approve.
A motion to approve, looking for a second.
I'll second.
Got a second, any discussion on? Chair will call for a vote. Aye.
Aye.
Dave? Aye. Okay. All right, pier permit, Kloss, 6532 Channel Road. Are you present here? Okay. Oh, we need to come up yet. All right, let's address Mr. Kloss here. Come on up. All right. Commissioners?
I think the question was raised last time about whether or not the shoreline that was depicted on your application was accurate or not. I don't know, Tina, were there adjustments made to that? You
Yes.
got verification,
Get verified, it's 105 feet.
okay, 105 feet. My understanding is that the ordinance that we have allows one pier per 100 feet. Seeing that you have two piers, it seems as though only one would be allowed for your property. That's my view on it.
Should I interpret the ordinance? That's how I interpret the ordinance as well.
Would it be okay to have the L around the pontoon boat yet? Cause I'm disabled, it's hard for me to load it and clean it and everything with just the one side.
Yeah, you only have one pier going out from the shoreline, so that's okay.
Okay. I'll get rid of the other one then.
Unfortunately, we need to ask you to do that.
Based on your diagram, which of the piers has the pontoon boat that you're questioning, you're asking about? The large one with the L to the right?
Right,
Okay,
the far right, the far one to the north, it would be that would have to go,
yeah,
The smaller one.
this one, yeah.
cause you can't have one. See, when I put them in, I thought you could have another pier if you had more than 100 feet.
Unfortunately, it's only one per 100 feet. So if you had 200 feet, you probably could have another one.
Oh, you gotta have a whole 100 feet to put another one.
That's my understanding of the ordinance, yes.
Yes.
And then they also raised my taxes because of the extra land they didn't know about. Oh, I was wondering, did they take into account that it's smaller by the road? It's like 70 by the road only and 105 feet in front of it.
Then you have to talk to the assessor for. We really don't have anything to do with the assessment or changing the tax rules or anything. That would be Kathy from
All right. I had talked to her about it already. Get an awful lot of variances and opinions and how the rules and stuff work.
All water review is coming up. We'll be announcing that tonight too. So
Right,
I talked to Kathy first and then if you have any objections, you can go to the town board.
okay. So get rid of the one pier and I'm okay?
And we're only on that left side of that, if you're facing the water on the left side, just make sure you have at least 10 feet of setback from the property line. Get to the bad math here, I'm trying to figure out, just make sure
It
you
looks like he's got enough.
got enough on the left side of that.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna suggest that.
I don't owe you any more money for permits or nothing.
No, I don't think so, but I would suggest that once you remove the pier, that you resubmit the permit application with a diagram showing only the one pier on it,
Sure,
and then we can approve that one and you'll be good to go.
okay.
Does that make sense, Tina?
Yes.
How long do I have to get the pier out of there? I'm not in a real good situation here to be pulling piers out. On a disabled income, it's not gonna be able to be hired out.
I know what we've done in the past.
I can try my best. I don't know how
What is
long do I
reasonable,
have?
Mike?
Couple months, 30
Couple months, all right.
All right, I'll say, we'll go with 60 days to start.
I'll
If
give
you
it
need
my
more than
best
that,
try.
let us know.
All
All
right,
right?
sounds
60
good.
days.
Fair enough.
Thank you much.
Thank you.
All right. Moving on to item number 5, peer permit, Kelly and Bellevue, 4324 South Loomis Road. Are you here? Okay, you're over here. Okay. Commissioners?
Question for me, please. Yeah, how big is the platform at the end of the pier? The loading platform?
112 square feet.
Okay, so you're within the range then, that's good.
Yeah, so we're 6 foot wide for the pier going up and then an 8 by 8 added on to that for a total of 112.
Thank you.
Any other questions, Commissioners? Okay, we're doing a motion to approve this peer permit.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Got a motion, looking for a second?
Second.
Got a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Passes, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we are going chicken permit, application Hamden, 28705 Beach Drive. Are you here? Okay. Board, what would you like to do? You got the application? Everything is here.
Your button. Like to table it till next month, perhaps they'll show up.
Okay, is that a motion to table? Item number 6 on that one, the next one's being?
I'll make a motion to table the next meeting.
I got a motion, looking for a second?
I'll second.
Got a second? Any discussion? Call for vote? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, it's tabled. All right, chicken permit application, Michaels, 8024 Marjorie Drive. Are you here?
Yes.
Thank you. Why not? Commissioners, questions?
First of all, I just want to thank you for the nice drawing you did.
I have no questions on this one.
I don't have any questions either.
Okay, motion to approve.
Everything is in order.
Okay, motion to approve her permit.
Also moved.
Got a motion, looking for a second?
I'll second.
Okay, any discussion? Call for vote, all in favor?
Thank
You're
you.
good. All right. Number 8.
Hey, that's Stephanie Waldron, and she is actually on Zoom. Stephanie, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
All right. Chicken permit application, Walden, 29321 Manor Drive. Commissioners?
Was that a question?
No.
No, I'm just asking the commissioners.
Okay.
All I'm doing. Thank you.
I don't have anything.
Given a choice, I suggest the second alternative.
Okay. Did you hear that, Stephanie? The
I
second.
heard something about the second alternative.
Okay.
That's the one that they like.
So far, that's one commissioner likes that one. Let's see what the other
Okay.
say.
Okay, are you gonna make a motion?
Ted, can you say a little bit about why you're preferring that option?
Because it's behind the house, close to the woods and away from the other house on the, I don't know if it's the south side or the east side. You look at the two drawings.
It is the south side, kind of southeast.
Therefore, it's further away from the two neighbors.
Correct.
Ms. Walden, that is accurate. That's the one that seems to be the furthest away from your neighbors.
That's the one that's behind our house, and it's in line with our house, so it's sort of between both neighbors, which would mean it's further away from one neighbor. If it were option A, then the other one, then it would be further away from the other neighbor. But it's kind of right in the middle of both of them.
Okay.
And I believe it also will not be so visible from the road.
No, it wouldn't. It's behind our house.
Makes sense.
Okay, entertaining a motion here.
I'll move to approve.
A motion, looking for a second?
Second.
A second? Any more discussion? Call for vote? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye,
For clarification, that was option 2 or B.
yes.
All right, thanks, Stephanie.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
All right, number 9, chicken permit, application, Robert Nowicki, 4404 Sunset Drive. Are you here? Robertson Nowicki, 4404 Sunset Drive.
Yeah, they knew to be here too. Let me just make sure they're not online.
I'm going to table.
All right, there's a motion on the table, second?
Second?
Okay, call for a vote, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, correspondence, I have no correspondence. Public comments none, forthcoming events, not aware of any forthcoming events, anybody else up here? Any events? Okay, motion to adjourn,
Move to adjourn?
motion to adjourn? A second? All right, call for vote, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, well, thank you for coming to the planning commission. Meeting's over. We do have another meeting at 5:25 to be exact.
For those of you who are online, I'm gonna be pausing, recording and audio until we start the meeting back up.
I'm holding, okay.
These guys.
We're gonna start the special meeting for the notice of meeting and adjournment for border review to a later date. Town of Waterford, the Racine County Border Review will meet, today, the 12th at 5:25 PM. All right, call that meeting to order. Looking for any questions? All right. Pursuant to section 70-42 of Wisconsin statute, the assessment roll for the year 2025 assessment will be open for examination from June 16th to June 20th during regular business hours here at the town hall. Further be advised that the assessor for the town of Waterford will be presented on June 20th from 4 PM to 6 PM. Instructional material and assessment on the border review process will be available at that time, information how to file, and any objection and the border review procedures under Wisconsin law. The notice is given today. We're gonna adjourn the border review for June 27th from 8:30 to 10:30 AM. Maybe you can make a motion to do that. Looking for a motion?
I'll move to do that.
And a motion looking for a second? I'll second. Call for vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye?
Aye.
All right, motion to adjourn that meeting.
Move to adjourn.
Second,
Second?
all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we get another 2-minute preview, and then we'll start the real meeting here, all right? 30 seconds here.
Tim, do you want to make an announcement about public comments?
Do we have any, did anybody submit anything?
No.
Okay,
Okay.
I'll do it. I want to do it.
Well, I was just gonna say if anybody wants to speak to you.
Yeah, but they didn't. All right, we're gonna call this meeting to order, May 12th, 2025 at 5:30 PM, meeting of the town board. Please, stand for pledge of allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, looking for the approval of the town board minutes dated April 14th, 2025. Special meeting minutes dated April 22nd and April 29th, 2025 as printed.
I got two quick questions. Bob, I got a question on the drop-off box. Sorry. I got a question on the drop-off box. Said last month you reached out to the state but hadn't received a response. Do we have any response from the state regarding the medicine drop-off box?
I have no update. I'll reach back out.
All that's sort of been handled.
Okay.
It'll be on the police report. I'll report on that.
I'll reach back out.
Save some time.
And then I got one other question that was brought up about the oversight of the clerk committee with confidential information per chapter 60. Board agreed to review this to legal counsel. Did we do that?
We have not met with the board, all of us, since we're down a supervisor, but that meeting will be forthcoming.
Okay. That's all the questions I have.
Okay, looking for a motion to approve those minutes.
I'll move to approve the minutes as printed.
Looking for a second.
Second.
Our motion second, any discussion? If not, we'll call for a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
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 All right, approval of the claims as presented by treasurer's report. Heather, would you like to present over there?
The general and tax checking has $266,746. The general operating money market has $1,076,778. And the reserve funds has $1,330,788.
Okay, thank you. Any questions on the claims of the treasurer's report?
I had a couple of questions on two different items. One was from the Village of Waterford for $5,823. I asked for the invoice, and that's for, it's noted as boundary agreement. I'm just curious why we are paying all these fees for the boundary agreement. Who authorized the expense of these, the expenditures with this boundary agreement, and how much more expense we can expect to be billed by the village?
Well, I obviously I did not submit that, so I will ask Heather for clarification then.
I don't, they just said it was for developer, like what I put in the, did I have it on the side?
Yeah, I didn't recall seeing that. Okay. I'm gonna recommend we pull that invoice and don't pay that so we can investigate it.
They said it was Baxter Woodman invoices.
Yeah, that was probably for the legal description of the town. That was a requirement for,
It's a developer billing is what it had said, so I don't, they just submitted them.
okay, well, I suspect that's what it was for the official town boundaries. That was a required portion of the boundary agreement. One of the attachments.
Okay, nobody's in agreement, let's pull that invoice and research it first before we agree to pay anything.
Sure, whoever needs to check it out, go ahead.
They have the detailed invoices, it just says developer professional services for road boundary assistance from Baxter Woodman.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the official boundary map that was required for the village and the town. So that's gotta be the town's portion.
The bill was over that, $10,000, that agreement?
I'm not sure. I think the town's probably was larger, I'm guessing, because the town's boundaries are so much larger than the villages. But I've not seen those invoices. I didn't see the breakdown, so I'm not sure.
Okay.
I guess again, the question, I don't believe the board ever authorized. That's part of my concern here is, you know, we talk about budgets and then unauthorized expenditures. My second question was from Innovative Computer Technologies. There's one for $6,825. And Heather provided me with two invoices. There's a second one then for $32,3750, so a total of 10 grand. The larger one says that it's for consulting based on the DOJ CJIS audit, and they provided a 77-page reply with data to respond to, I'm assuming, deficiencies from the CJIS audit.
So we're working with our IT department, that's who that Innovative Solutions is, that's IT Bill. He's working with us to get that audit taken care of. It was started a while ago when Lieutenant Spiegel was here, and I think half of that was finished. And then we got notification that they needed to be completed by a certain time. IT Bill is already working on it. And to this date, I'm not sure if it's fully completed yet, but I'll be able to get back to you and find that out. I'm supposed to meet with Bill possibly next week sometime.
It's for 20 pages. So are these things that just recently popped up, or are these things that have been overlooked? And you may not know because I know you weren't in that position.
This audit happens, I think, every 2 or 3 years. And I did look up, I think the last one that we had, last audit, the bill was for just under 5,000, so this one is significantly more. I don't know if that's because they're having more issues with these questions, or that's something I can ask Bill about. Get you some more answers on that.
Thanks. Sure.
Okay, so are we gonna make a motion to approve claims, remove the one, and then treasurer report will completed? Looking for a motion.
I'll make that motion.
Got a motion, looking for a second? Looking for a second?
Second.
The motion second, call for vote, all in favor? Aye. All right, appointment to fill vacant town board seat, supervisor seats. I would like to make an appointment, if the board's okay. I had 4 resumes come in, one decided to withdraw, so I had three candidates, all good candidates. But after review, I have, want to make the appointment of Tom Borowski, who's been on the planning commission, has been working on the board for some time with the board on different projects, so I'd like to make a motion that he replaces my vacancy since I became chair. Looking for a second.
Second.
A motion second, discussion.
I move to postpone the question until after Supervisor Sklinski returns the public records he took from the town, and the rest of the board members are provided sufficient opportunity to review those records so they can make informed decisions and perform their duties in accordance with state statute, rather than simply rubber stamping predetermined appointments, but no earlier than the regular town board meeting in June.
Got a motion second, call for a vote.
I believe my motion deserves the opportunity for a second.
I'm not saying a second there, so I'm calling for a vote, all in favor? Aye.
I oppose, and I believe that there may be some open meetings concerns with this as well.
Aye, passes. 3-1. You know, do what you need to do.
I, Tom Rachkowski, having been elected or appointed to the office of Town Board Supervisor, but have not yet entered upon the duties thereof, swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Wisconsin, and will faithfully discharge the duties of said office to the best of my ability, so help me God.
Right here, also. Have a seat up there. Yeah, this is name is there, yeah.
Welcome. Thank you.
This is planning commissioner, but no.
Change it. All right. Moving on, correspondence. I do not have any correspondence, but I do want to mention that public comments forms are in the back. Nothing was pre-submitted, Tina, stuff like that. Public comments will be held at the end of each meeting, so we can go forward, discuss our business, and then have the public talk, and we can address it at the next meeting if there's something that needs to be addressed. All right, we're going to department and committee reports. Greg Horace, Racine County Supervisor report. Please go, Chris.
Thank you, Chairman Zaklinski, for the opportunity, every month, by the way. I wanted to start by congratulating certainly the new chairman, as well as Andrew, Robert, yourself, and now, of course, Tom, on your appointments and election to the positions. I wasn't here at the last meeting when it was right after the election, and I certainly wanted to acknowledge that. At the same time, I still wanted to also acknowledge the support that Doug and Terry gave to the town over the years, and the fact that they're not up here. We should always appreciate the work that they put into it, right, wrong, and different, agree, disagree. They gave a lot of their time to be able to be a part of this. You know, right after the election, I connected with Chairman Zaklinski and wanted to have a meeting to see how can the county better support the work of the board and certainly our entire residency. And he and I discussed a couple of things, and specifically, and it's kind of interesting because it's going to come up in a moment on my report. two things he specifically asked for was, is there an opportunity that the county could share information regarding social media requirements and responsibilities of the county board? And so I was able to send to him the draft. It's a draft form, but it gives a good basis for exactly what the social media expectation is of our public officials, if you will. The other one that I had gone ahead and forwarded was the public records information as to how public records can be and should be maintained and or utilized and or distributed to the public, as opposed to just presuming we can go ahead and send them out. So I know, Tim, you got both of those, and again, I will also continue through this whole discussion, always to remind everybody that there is a resource to help support what it is we're all trying to accomplish here. So if I can be of any assistance through all that, I would be more than happy to. From a county perspective, I will tell you that we had a couple of items that we addressed at our last meeting, one of which was a budget vision meeting, whereby all of the county board supervisors got to weigh in on the budget expectations going into 2026. And I would encourage the board to consider a similar type of meeting to establish what the priorities need to be or what you would expect them to be going forward so that they can be incorporated properly into the budgetary process. I found this to be a very valuable session for the county board to do, simply because all 21 supervisors had a chance to weigh in on things that we thought were urgent and in need of attention. So I encourage that that becomes a part of your consideration going forward. We also discussed things regarding mental and behavioral health. We discussed the parks and roads, some of the challenges that the county is having. I wanted to highlight that, by the way, if those that aren't aware, this is National Police Week. It's from May 11th until May 17th, or May 18th, excuse me. And we certainly want to recognize our service people that obviously not only protect us, but are there to help guide us through this process of what it is we deal with on a day in and day out basis. So I will be attending tomorrow the memorial service for Racine County to make sure that we have great representation and show our thanks and appreciation. So much appreciate all that you do all the time. Thank you. All right, then that brings it to the last item. I will tell you that this one was a little disappointing because I was made aware over the weekend of an incident that occurred over at the high school. Occurred last week during a track meet. And I'll go through my notes, and Tina, I think I mentioned, I will hand this to you after, so you don't need to write any of this down, okay? But I will tell you that what I had learned during this track meet is something that is extremely disappointing. And what it has to do with is the allegations, and we'll call them allegations, of the Rufus King High School faculty and or coaches regarding comments that were made by either the student body of Waterford, the clerk or the meet clerks, meaning the track meet clerks, in one case, Wisconsin state official, and a few others that were creating an incredibly hostile, derogatory, mockery type of comments to our African-American friends coming in from Rufus King. Now, you know, I wrote this down and I was gonna read it word for word, but I think that doesn't do justice to the passion that we need to bring to this topic. Because I will share with you that we have just come off of about a year and a half worth of quote unquote issues involving the town, let's say 2 years, that have addressed issues regarding social media and acrimony and people that are in continual disagreement regarding anything and or everything. And then what happens? Now we have students that are at our high school that are out there, allegations, and I want to be real clear that this is all being reviewed and right now being investigated. But I will tell you that I personally reached out to Supervisor Francois over the weekend, was in touch with him so that I could try to get an update on exactly what may have happened. He was gracious to give me the information, not only that he has generated, but also what we received directly from let's call it the faculty or the administration over at Rufus King. So I've seen the allegations and I've seen the comments, and to say it's disturbing would be an understatement. But again, we still have to make sure that we investigate this, and I say we, I'm sorry. This is really, the school has to do the investigation on this and any others that get involved in it. But I will say that if these allegations are proven to be accurate and validated, then I would hope that the school will handle this in a manner that is not only aggressive, but most appropriate for the severity of what it is we were told occurred. Now, one of the things that I wanted to challenge the board with is that, and Tim, I briefly mentioned it to you earlier, was to make sure that the board reaches out to the high school, and also the village, so that, and I think you may have already talked with Adam, reaches out to them to offer support in how we can together as a community address this issue. I mean, racial slurs, derogatory comments. I mean, we're talking about things that, guys, I'm sorry, I grew up in an inner city. This is the stuff I remember when I was back in 10, 11 years old. This is happening down the street. And this is happening at a time where I don't know what everybody's opinion is about what Waterford is to out in the world or out in the community, but there's a lot of embarrassment going on right now because of how things and what has occurred over the past couple of years. And maybe, just maybe, this is an opportunity to help bring some people together to try and see if there's a way maybe we can work better together to help support certainly not just a school issue, but an entire community issue. I know that Luke, Superintendent Francois, I know that he and his team are going to be reviewing this in detail. And I'm sure we will all hear appropriately, as we should hear, whoever the contact go to. But I want us to be there to be in support. You know, I have to tell you, it was Saturday afternoon when I watched the NBC news clip of that ended up the local television talking about this situation, and it was painful. Then, of course, what do I do when I wake up on Sunday morning? I read the newspaper, read two of them actually. And there it is. Milwaukee Journal and Racine Times, both of which articles have regarding this topic. So again, I'm going to close by simply saying that I really am hoping that the board is able to find a way to reach out to both parties, because to me, it's the village and the town supporting the high school, because I assure you, these high school students, they come from both different locations and frankly, some of the other surrounding towns too. I hope that we can try and work a way to get through this process in a proactive manner, not reactive, that ends up with mudslinging and accusations on social media and issues that quite frankly may be blatantly false, but because somebody feels more comfortable under anonymous and type something, they in fact do what they think they like to do. So I will say with that, and at the end here, I'm certainly available to answer whatever questions may be on what I do or don't know, but I will not get into any details because that investigation is ongoing right now. But I will say that from my standpoint, I'm really looking to the leadership. That's what it comes down to. Looking to the leadership to say, hey, we can get together because we're better than this. Our town is better than this. And our residents are clearly better than this. And we've got great people. And I know that this is the action of probably a few people. But guess what? Those few people just cast a black cloud over Waterford again. So I have one final item I'll go over in a moment, but I wanted to say before I went any further, are there any questions of me regarding the town? I mean, regarding the county, excuse me. Thank you all for giving me that chance to be able to pontificate a little bit about the concern and the frustration, if you will. And I'm sorry if I'm not talking real well. I had a tooth pulled today and it's hurting like hell right now. So before I get off the stage here, unfortunately, Tim, you gave me the chance right out of the box. I also want to, so I won't come up later. I also want to make sure that I offer my support to the Michigan Lake Lions Club. And yes, I am a Lion, so obviously you'd expect me to do that. Who will be coming up later regarding the pavilion and the desire to construct another facility over at the park. Yeah, my response to that is the Michigan Lake Lions continue to do so much for this community when it comes to community events and activities and things for the community to be a part of and to do. So I would really hope that this is something that gets passed and approved accordingly, as with appropriate feedback and input. And I know that, thank you, Mr. Romanowitz, for already making me aware that, and wasn't aware that it's on the county agenda coming up, that I will, on the committee that I'm the vice chair of. So I'm about to hear it at the county level pretty shortly too. So with that having been said, if there's no comments or questions, I thank you all for your time and thank everybody in the crowd for allowing me the opportunity to share some of my feelings on this. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Greg, appreciate it. All right, moving on to the police department, well, I was in, congrats to National Police Week, but Greg got that already, so. All right, Mike, your report.
Thank you, evening. The April numbers, I'll start off with, we had 5 in-run accidents, we had 10 calls for assistance requests, 10 civil troubles. We had 81 crime prevention, we had 11 business checks, 16 reckless driving complaints, 45 rescue runs, 7 suspicious circumstances, 29 traffic stops, and 8 welfare checks. We had a total of 372 calls in the month of April. And some other business, mentioning our med box. Per the state requirements, we did not meet those by having it inside, so we had the med box removed until we can maybe find another solution to that. If that is an avenue that the board wishes to go through, we can definitely talk that over and see if that's something that we can get done. We have submitted on WileyNet, we have posted our job openings for chief, full and part-time police officers, and for water patrol. So far, we have received about 20 plus applications so far. So that it's actually quite a few for the short amount of time that we've had it open. It closes in 10 days. So I will update the board when that time comes on May 22nd. We also had, our officers have finally completed their annual training. We had, there's 2 state requirements that we have. We have firearms that is required every year. We completed that on Friday. And then we also have our biannual pursuit training that we completed last, about 2 weeks ago. So that's completed. We do have a couple officers going to legal updates on Wednesday at Waukesha County Technical College. And then that will complete their requirement for the year for the training. And also I've been working as the SRO, I've been working with Principal Foster at the high school. We created a committee that includes first responders, police and fire, parents of our community, along with several other people on the committee to oversee our emergency operations plan. About every 3 years, we review that and we try to update it. So we created a committee to get some insight from people all over the community and first responders. They give us some possible discrepancies that they might see in it. We act on that when we try to improve it. So there's a couple things that have changed dramatically from 3 years ago. And one is being our reunification plan. So after a major event, it could be an active shooter event, it could be a natural disaster, it could be anything along those lines. The Racine County Task Force, so working with our emergency management for Racine County, working with the Sheriff's Department, and all of our communities, their fire departments and police departments in the area, we've created a kind of a unified reunification area, and that's going to be on the west end. That's going to be the town of Norway Hall and Norway Lutheran Church. The second one is going to be the Racine County Fairgrounds, and then I believe Burlington's DPW. So then on the west end, those are the 3 major reunification areas that we're going to have. So we worked on that. That's probably the biggest change to our EOP, and that was completed last week. I think that's all I have for you tonight.
Okay, any questions then for Officer Smith?
I have a couple.
Yes, sir.
With respect to the job postings and particularly the chief, in the past, those were board discussions and board decisions. Were they authorized by somebody on the board this time
The committee was put in place.
to make postings on WileyNet?
Yeah, I was told to post those.
Okay, by whom, just curious.
By me.
Okay.
By me.
And did Supervisor Sklinski also approve the language of the posting?
I don't believe so, no.
Okay, because it makes reference to essentially a joint commission. I had suggested creating a police commission in the town of Waterford, and that was ignored And at this time, there is no commission, let alone a joint commission with the village, and so that may cause some.
That has been changed.
Okay.
That was
Supervisor.
there, and when we had the special meeting, we created and had a person of the committee and had a 5-person committee for the town of Waterford.
The wordage has been changed and corrected almost immediately after we found that it did say commission versus committee.
Okay, nice.
So that has been corrected.
Okay, moving on to Michigan Fire Company.
Mr. Chairman, along with our weekly trainings and work nights, we responded to 20 EMS calls, 4 fire calls, 2 MAVIS calls, and 2 PI accidents for April. And so far, May, we have 11 calls so far in May.
Okay, thank you. Any questions for Fire Company, Michigan Fire Company? Okay, Water Supply and Rescue, did we get a report submitted to us at all? Okay, I will talk to Adam about that. Waterford Waterway Management District.
Mr. Chairman and Board, I'm here to report that all 3 pieces of our equipment have been moved to the waterway. We are currently working with the Wisconsin DNR for a 1-year harvesting permit. I explained at the last meeting that we are also going for a 5-year harvesting permit that requires an update to our existing APM plan. That also requires that we cannot do any herbicide treatments until after, say, June 20th. So we're gonna be about 2 weeks late on getting herbicide out compared to years prior. But that will be coming. We're also going to do Priscilla Court application in Buena Lake this summer again. That will be likely the week of the June 20th that's gonna take place. In terms of the 1-year permit, I have submitted it. I became aware that there was an issue with the submittal. So I'm working with the DNR, been working with them last week and this week to try and get the permit through. So I was intending to do harvesting this week, but I'm hoping that we can start next week, May 19th. We are going to have the Wisconsin DNR representative, Mr. Craig Halker, come out and do some training with our labor crew on Monday, the 19th in the morning. We're also going this Friday to Aquarius, one of the manufacturers, for factory training on the equipment, maintenance, proper use of the equipment, things like that. So we're really putting more of a focus this year on trying to give the labor crew additional training. Do you have any questions for me? Thank you.
Thank you. Park and Road Department.
Well, I don't have a whole lot for the park, just that the old blower that we had here, that was a cooler, we're gonna add that to the park. It's the same one, that one's cooler, because it just never gets cool. So it's gonna be a lot nicer. We got it outlet already, so as soon as the plumber can get there, then it'll be done. On the roads, boy, I got a lot here. Well, to start off, the clean sweep for Racine County, countywide is, actually August 16th, from 8 to noon. We did manage to sell all the equipment that was up for auction through Gov Deals, the old Bears, the old fan machine, the 86 pickup, and the 3-point tri-globe Hornet, with a total of $23,650. So if that could be added to the new truck fund someday, that would be great.
We'll take it under advisement. So turn it in the treasurer.
Our new truck's gonna be about $275.
I'll pick your balance right now.
Very helpful. Okay, on the roads. Let me make glasses for this. I got a lot to do here. Vienna Park Road pre-construction meeting this Wednesday at 1 o'clock with the engineers from the village and us. Go over the pre-con meeting, they call it. And then for this year for roads, so there's quite a bit. Town Line is actually gonna finish up hopefully tomorrow. Then they can wrap up the figures and get all the data and the totals to the engineer, and then we can basically submit for reimbursement for that project. We have a little bit of ditch work for us to do on the northeast side. Talked to the Great Hall operator today. Get a price on that actually tomorrow. That should take about 2 days. There might be some utilities in the way, So we may have to work around that, but wanna get that done. Norway wants us to get that done. It's actually on their side, but it's our portion that we maintain. North of that. Next would be, the drainage project on Beach and Burma. The homeowners got together, they're gonna fix that drainage over there. I talked to custom grading, they're gonna do the project. The only thing they're asking us to do is the road culvert in the road. We're gonna pay for the culvert, this was discussed, last year. So we'll pay for the culvert, we're gonna work together on that project, get that done. Next would be, Miller, we're gonna do Miller this year, they're gonna honor last year's price, $58,475. We're gonna work with the town of Burlington, or town of East Troy on the culvert. They're gonna pay for the culvert, we're just gonna haul some gravel for them, since they actually plowed that road for us forever. So we're just being a nice neighbor with that. Next would be, well, the roads for this year, I got a big list. We can't really do a whole lot for bids regarding crack filling roads. There is some patches we're gonna do ourselves. Gill Circle, Small Lane, a small patch on Washington. With Miller Road, that's $58,475. Minus gravel and engineering, that'll leave us about $200,000 this year. It's not much. So we can't really bid out too much. It's not fair for the bidders to bid on roads that we're never gonna do on the yearly bid. So, kind of highly recommend some of the higher speed roads. A portion of Honey Creek North from Hill Valley to the curb. Loomis, well, that's another one. We don't really know the lot lines on Loomis yet. We have a preliminary map from the county. Gail, you have that, but I guess there's still some discrepancies on where we actually own. So somebody point me in the right direction on where to contact, where we find out exactly where those lot lines are. Other than the county zoning map.
Tribe Register of Deeds. Tribe Register of Deeds, they'd be the only other people.
Registry of Deeds, okay, I'll talk to you about that. Okay, so the roads that are gonna be on that for this year, the bid out would be Halverson, Loomis, hopefully to get some numbers on that, cause we don't know where the lot lines are, and then Honey Creek. Section of road, which is about 2,800 feet, which is, a little more than half a mile. So, and then crack filling would be Gavin, East River Bay, and east of 164 and North Michigan Road. You gotta keep good roads good, we have the bad roads. Then with that said, then we'll have to pick and choose. And I do have a spreadsheet from the engineer. This year, the unit price on roads are up almost $4 per square yard for a pulverized overlay compared to last year. That's just the going price for this year. I got a spreadsheet here trying to make sense of it. This one goes down to 2039 for the list of roads that are bad. And there's still maybe a few more we need to add and separate these to a realistic number that we can use each year for the money that we spend, $275,000. This is a 14-year plan, and we're still shy. So just bring it to everybody's attention how much this stuff costs. I'll have this updated, hopefully, maybe by the end of the week, once I talk to the engineer tomorrow on what we're gonna bid out this year. Then by then I'll have a list of homework for you guys to do and drive around and check these roads out. Last but not least, Keeley Court. That's on the list. It's on the list to pay. Last time we only paid a portion of it because it was too expensive to build the wall and make the road wider. It's only like 13 to 15 feet wide. So we may not even get state aid for that because it's too narrow. So we need to either abandon it. We can't abandon it unpaved because homeowners won't agree. But as soon as we can just pave that without trying to make it a highway up there, because that's one road on your list that we'll check out because it just ends to a house. There's no T, there's no turnaround. it just ends up in someone's driveway. We haven't plowed that in years. So that's something to take a look at. That'll be on my map as well. I do have a survey map here. The right of way goes real far. But if you want to pave that, last time we looked into making a wall and changing the drainage, it was astronomically high. We'll never get our money out of that, 100 years. We'll have to, you have a sample packet from Bluefield on what it takes to give a road back to the homeowners.
I don't have any packet, no.
Deal with it. Oh, no, it's right here. It's right here. It's just a sample. I had my file for probably 10 years. That's the last.
So we'll compile that stuff and get it to the board as soon as possible.
Yeah.
We can review it and get back to you.
Probably involve our town attorney. We've vacated roads in the past, so I'm sure Mike knows the proper procedures for doing that as well.
Well, we're not there yet, to give us his information. So.
Right.
Did that cover everything, Gail?
I think so. Can you refresh my memory as to how much money you think we'll be getting back on Town Line Road approximately?
Well, I talked to her today, once we get the last figures, from the drainage through the woods, and, they gotta put some stone riprap and restoration of seed. We should get that maybe yet this week, because they're gonna finish up maybe tomorrow. So it'll be soon,
Okay, thanks.
and if you can make it to the pre-construction meeting on Wednesday, anybody, that'd be great.
Planning and Town.
All right, thanks for the report.
Do you bid out the cracks in?
Yeah, bring us a bit on crack though.
You're gonna build that out?
Yep,
Okay.
yep.
All right, moving on to town planning commission recommendations. There were several items on the agenda. 2 piers, 1 passed, 1 didn't. 4 chickens, 2 passed, and 2 are tabled to next month's meeting. So, moving on. Appointment of officials.
I just have a question on the planning commission. Is there a, and there may be, is there a reason why if all of the materials are present and sufficient for the planning commission, they can't grant a permit without the presence of the homeowners? It seems like it would just streamline the process for everybody.
I agree with you, and I think that Ken going forward, I went by what the board decided tonight, but I don't see that if everything's in order and the setbacks and everything's fine with the chickens to take them back. I don't recall it ever being usually anybody that has someone planning, they always came to the meeting, so.
No, and I think there's valid reasons for them being at the meeting if there are questions, but if everything's in order, nobody has questions, then I think just streamline it for everyone.
One came in late for the wrong meeting, so. All right, appointment of officials. Okay, as the new chair, I motion to appoint the following 1-year terms. Town engineer Kapoor and Associates. Town surveyor Gary Folk. Weed commissioner Ken Hintz. Town assessor Kathy Romanovic per contract. I also appoint the following 3-year term to planning commissioner number 2, Joel Dickinson. Town clerk Tina Meyer, 1 year. Town treasurer and deputy clerk Heather Stratton, 1 year. Mike Dubus, SC Dubus Law Office, without state council be approved by town board, 1 year. L&M inspections, 1 year. The following board liaisons, planning commission inspection liaison, Bob Ulander. I'm gonna appoint you to that. Police department liaison, Andrew, I already sort of appointed you that previously. Michigan fire liaison, I'm gonna do that one with the fire department, to get the contract done. Public liaison, Supervisor Gerke, Dale, keep working with Ken there. Administrative relation, Tom Morowski. And also, since our past chair started with Waterford Sanitary District liaison, I'm gonna put you that too, Tom. So to work for the sanitary district, they have their meeting second Wednesday of each month at 8 o'clock or 8:30. So please add that to your agenda. Okay. Those are my appointments. Any questions? Looking for a motion to approve my appointments.
I'll move to approve the appointments.
Looking for a second. I'll second. Call for vote. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Robert, did you vote?
Yes, aye.
All right, thank you. All right, moving on. Board to move the review of ordinance changes discussed at the October 14th special meeting as it relates to the recognition to the June 9th board meeting. I wanna work to get that done, with Attorney Dubus and Tina and everybody else involved in it. So let's plan on getting that done that night, so we can get them approved. And then we can have the committee review and work on them, clear off any other ordinances we have to do. So looking for a motion to move that date. I'll make that motion. Looking for a second?
I'll second.
Got a second? All in favor? Aye. All right. Discussion and possible action resolution in support of the Waterford Police Department. Everybody should have the resolution in the packet. I will read it here. Whereas the town ordinance is authorizing existence of a police department, and whereas an intergovernmental committee has been formed to address current issues associated with the town police department, and whereas the committee has a clear objective of suggesting recommendations to the board of supervisors to better our existing police department, and so now therefore be it resolved that the town of Waterford, Wisconsin will start the process of establishing a truly functional and fully operational police department. And further, be it further resolved that the town clerk, no later than 30 days after passage of this resolution, shall transmit copies of the resolution to the members of the police committee, urging them to start the process of naming qualifications for supervisory position in the town of Waterford Police Department. All right, I'm looking to pass it, if it passes today, I'm looking to pass it up as a resolution as the Board of Supervisors of the town of Waterford, state of Wisconsin, at a regularly scheduled meeting held on May 12th, 2025. Looking for a motion. I'll make that motion. Got a second? Discussion.
I have several questions and or concerns. The resolution talks about an intergovernmental committee that has been formed. Is that committee that was reestablished at the April 22nd meeting?
That is our town committee, yes.
So the intergovernmental committee is now the same thing as the oversight committee that will be doing both the work with the village as well as the, I guess, oversight of the police department?
Well, I will defer to Tony Dubus on this one, because he helped draft this.
I drafted, helped draft this resolution. What committee are you referring to, Bob?
As far as I know, there's only one committee, and so I'm just trying to, I mean, the resolution also says they have a clear objective of suggesting recommendations, and what I'm seeing is not clear as to what their mission is, what their roles are, what their responsibilities are, and so I'm trying to clarify what the duties of this committee will be.
Well, I think their duties are gonna be a flowing process. In other words, they're just being formed now, actually, in some respects. With new leadership here, I guess you can call it. So I don't think necessarily that they have to allocate their goals at this time and their responsibilities at this time. I think that's a flowing process. So I would refer to the committee on that. And as far as two committees, I'm aware of one committee. There are two?
The past year set up a committee, but it was done incorrectly and didn't have a chair to run it.
Right.
So I did it at the special meeting to clarify, so our board of five now, we added a person, is an operational committee.
Is this the committee that you're referring to?
Correct, I
So
am.
we have one committee then,
Right now, we have
Yeah,
one
that's
committee.
I would perhaps object to allowing the committee to state its goals, roles, responsibilities. I would think that it would be up to the board to assign those functions to the committee as opposed to the committee ruling themselves.
How about the board making a motion that the committee can determine its own rules and regulations unless the board decides at a future meeting it doesn't like them?
I think that's a recipe for chaos and the opportunity for a committee to go rogue, as we've seen in the past.
It could be, but that's a political decision, not a legal one.
Correct, and that's why I'm raising it.
Well, the committee has not met yet, and so I will work with the committee as chair and through the police liaison that's part of that committee. And any hiring or anything has to be done by the town board. It's gotta come to the town board. There's clear understanding the town board is responsible for all hiring of any staff for the town of Waterford. So the committee can review the resumes, they can review stuff and present to the town board, and the town board makes the final decision on any candidates that are hired.
So what you're saying that the committee's not gonna have any official capacity to make rules, they're gonna present it all to the town board first. I think that might help.
Correct, that is, yeah, it's gotta be presented to the town board, so the elected officials can decide going forward. But the committee can do a lot of the work, handling the day-to-day operations, which we already voted on, work with Officer Mike Payne, making sure that everything's operating fine, for the police department, so the board doesn't have to micromanage that thing. We have a police liaison that will be working on the day-to-day operations with the committee, so he's gonna help to do it. So that's how we established the committee.
So that's part of my question is what does day-to-day operations mean? Does that mean that the committee has the authority to change permissions in our security systems? Have steps been put into place to prevent unauthorized access to those systems in the future? I don't believe anybody on that committee should be making such changes. So does that fall into the role of day-to-day operational oversight?
There's a lot of day-to-day operations for the police department. If something arises, they work with the liaison, and he can reach out to the board or myself, and we can decide it from there. And we had a year and a half of going back and forth and things being changed that the board didn't even know about. So I think going forward, this is the best way to go at this time.
Okay, for one, I'd like examples of that, and for two, I would like to know who has permission to change, who has control and access to things like door locks in this building? Is that the oversight committee, the police department, the police committee?
The door locks are handled by the office, and they control the fobs. And
That's how it should be.
Well, I have a motion that's been made and seconded. I'm gonna call for a vote. Who's in favor of this resolution? Yeah.
Aye.
Aye.
I will abstain.
Yeah, 3 votes, yes. How's your vote?
I oppose.
Okay, 3 votes, 1 abstain, it passes. Thank you. Okay, discussion of possible action regarding developing a new contract with the Village of Waterford, with new terms for the police department, okay? I would like to entertain, working with our neighbors, we still service them through another month or 2 for the contract, but in order to keep going farther than that, we need to set up a new contract. I'm not looking for another 5-year commitment or anything like that. We're looking to propose a 1-year commitment to them, so we have some stability, so we can move forward with our resolution and provide stability to the town and the Village of Waterford policing services. I would like to appoint a police liaison to work on that with the village to assist in that. Basically, it's the old agreement that's been worked on for years, adding the new terms that we worked out over the past year of like one, I'm gonna use an example, 1 officer to cover both areas, okay? And we'll split the billing, how we're billing, so it's fair to both parties. That would help to cover first shift and second shifts. Right now, it's been working fine with the sheriff's on 3rd shift, anything like that. Officer, may I defer to you, have we had any issues running first, second shift and working with the village right now?
None, no, it's been, we've been covering both. So if we have one officer on, it covers both the village and town calls. And then of course for backup, if we need any kind of coverage, sheriff's department has been doing that. And actually, we had a call yesterday and the sheriff's department went above and beyond to help us out.
All right, thank you. So I'm gonna make a motion that we reach out to our counterparts at the Village of Waterford and work on a new agreement for policing services for the next year, while we work on things together, establishing things, and comes back to the board once the agreement is reached. So Supervisor Hanlon, you're good for handling that? That's my motion. Got that?
Sure.
Okay. So looking for a second. First and second, any other further discussion?
Oh, the vote on record of this board was to not rebuild the police department. That is the last vote on record of this board. So this perhaps exceeds the legal authority that the board currently has. Additionally, there was a legal vote to go to contract with the sheriff's department that has not been overturned. So there are perhaps some steps that need to be taken before this goes forward.
I will look into those steps, Supervisor Lander, but right now we have a resolution that has passed to rebuild our police department. I will work with legal on anything you mentioned right now, but I see no harm in working to our counterparts on working together. The contract's still gotta come back to the board, to do that before anything is ratified. So I have a motion, I have a second, I'm gonna call for a vote.
One question, what is the timeline for completing this contract based upon where we're at right now with the village? How long?
Well, we haven't even told them about this idea yet, so it's not gonna be overnight. But I'm sure they're gonna wanna do something before termination letter that was sent to them. I think it was, there's some discrepancy in the dates of it. The letter was dated the 23rd, they're saying they got the 4th. Legal said you go by the date that was received, so I don't have the exact date at the top of my head, but it's probably coming due by July 4th, so we've got 2 months Tina, can you clarify? You know what I mean?
Fourth, yeah, it was when it was sent certified was on the fourth.
Okay, so we got 2 months to work with them, and it's up to them. They may go in a different direction. If they decide to go in a different direction on their committee, that's their prerogative. At least it's been neighborly and work it out.
To that point, I do have one question as this goes forward. Is there anything of significance to the village now having a police and fire commission rather than just a fire commission? If as you work on this, Supervisor Hanlon, I'd appreciate some clarity on that. Thanks.
Okay, we got a motion first and a second. Call for vote, all in favor? Aye. Okay, and Bob? No, okay, it's fine, that's 3-1, I'm understanding. All right, creation of possible action regarding subcommittee. At the last meeting, we discussed creating an operations committee and an ordinance committee. I went through the resumes and, it was not an easy decision to come up with, well, there's a lot of good candidates, but it was not an easy position to come up with, people to pick, because you're never gonna make everybody happy, so. Going through this, for these committees, I'm gonna make the following appointments. For operations, Chris Pinzora is gonna be on the operations, and also Adam Kelly. Adam Kelly, that would be the operation committee. They will work with public works liaison and administrative liaison for better efficiency, just helping out as needed, okay? Next thing, the ordinance committee, okay? This has been talked about for several months. We've been kicking this down for a long time, so we are gonna work to pass this June 9th, and then the committee will take effect. Dale, you will be basically on that committee. John Belkey will be on there, Eric Jorgensen, Dave Orton, and John Funk. I'm gonna make, Dave Orton will be the chair of that committee, and I should also mention, Chris will be the chair of the committee for, operations, okay? All these positions are subject to background checks, which I will work with Officer May on. And if something comes up that's not kosher, I don't foresee that, but if something does, you will let me know, and then I'll have to withdraw my appointment. Yes,
You know, with the ordinance committee, it's gonna be real tough. We get new people on the committee right now. They have, if you're looking for a code that we passed almost all of it in October and expect a new committee and have legal review by June, I think.
well, no, I,
Optimistic.
Mike, I said, we're gonna pass it in June, and then the committee can start up after that. This committee, I wanna help function through like this UTV ordinance, that could have went to them to review first prior to coming to town board. They can go through any ordinances that you recommend we don't need anymore, or anything. You know, I know Supervisor Ulander submitted a whole bunch of changes. They can look to just double check, and we have a sub board sort of help working with you.
Deputy,
on these.
I just didn't want the committee to be sitting there thinking they have a June deadline.
No, they do not. I've explained that to everybody, exactly as I'm
Ordinance
explaining
books
now.
100-some pages long.
I understand that. That's why it's a lot for one or several people to look at. So, that's how I'm gonna appoint the committee to do this going forward. Okay? Looking for a motion to approve these appointments for these two committees that we approved
I
previously.
got a question though, just a procedural point. When committees were approved in the past, okay, someone would have to look at the minutes from last year or the year before. I don't know if it was just a chair appointment without board approval or whether it required a board approval. Because if it was just a chair appointment, like I think some were, I'm not sure.
Well, I'm asking, I mean,
The safest approach would be for the board to approve it. But I'm not saying necessarily that it requires a board.
well, I'll ask my board to approve it.
Yeah, if they approve it.
So if they approve it,
doesn't make a
great.
difference.
I mean, so I'm making that for these two committees. I'll make that motion. Looking for a second.
Well, second.
A second. Any further discussion?
I move to postpone the question until after the board has the opportunity to review the documents that were submitted by the applicants, so the board can make an informed decision rather than simply rubber stamping the predetermined appointments.
Duly noted, but as chair, I get to make the appointments.
You need to read the ordinance.
Yeah, well,
Well, yeah, if the board approves it, it doesn't, you know, Supervisor Ulander's objections noted, but the board can overrule it.
Yeah. I got a motion second, calling for vote, all in favor? Aye. Aye. All right, 4-1 Supervisor Ullander, that's fine. All right, Now, we're coming up to some positive things here. All right, discussion on possible action regarding Michigan Lions Club proposal for new buildings. Who is presenting from the Michigan Lions Club? Please come on up.
Thank you, Chairman, board members. I do
Please
have
give us your
copies.
name and address.
Name is Brad Fiedler. I live in the Village of Rochester, 321 Coyote Trail. I do have copies for you guys up front. And I also do have renderings for you to review also during my presentation.
These are all in the packets already.
You just wanted to color ones.
But those are colored.
Ours are not.
No, these are colored. Oh, those are. I guess.
Chairman.
Are you gonna, building plans, a lot of time are referred to planning commission too, are you gonna do that?
Well, they will have to go to planning once it's finalized, but right now they want to get moving because they have a county meeting right now. And they're looking for board approval to move forward with this project, but there's several steps they're gonna do, because once the county gets the stuff done, they'll work with Lee. I think you've already met with our building inspector.
Yes, and Racine County is also approved and is waiving anything that we need for their end as far as fees go.
So,
Correct.
You'll have to tell us what you're exactly looking for from the town.
Yep.
For approval, if we're gonna do so tonight.
Not a problem. First of all, thank you everyone for your time and your consideration. I have the honor and the privilege here to present this on behalf of Michigan Lake Lions Club. We're firm believers in giving back to the community that's always given us and continues to give so much to us to help the community. Michigan Lake Lions Club's honored to formally propose the donation of 2 new community structures at Waterford Town Park, a primary 50-foot by 72-foot pavilion with an integrated stage and 2 secure rear storage units designed for multifunctional community use. Those areas do allow the town grounds to store anything you guys wish, meaning mowers, equipment, anything you need to help maintain both the park and the ballparks, soccer fields also, all in that area. Secondary 20 by 24 foot pavilion located near the baseball fields provides shade and comfort for families and spectators. Both structures will be entirely funded by the Michigan Lake Lions Club through the generous support of our local residents, businesses, and volunteers. These pavilions are designed to serve as long-lasting, accessible, and inclusive spaces that encourage community gatherings, cultural events, recreation, and economic activity. By providing flexible venues for concerts, markets, tournaments, and more, this donation will enrich quality of life for residents and visitors alike, while supporting local businesses' growth. So project overview, you'll see on the bottom of page 1, main pavilion, covered stage for public events, concerts, ceremonies, 2 enlarged rear storage areas with wide doors for easy access, ADA compliant ramps and walkways, durable construction with metal roofing and enclosed sidewalls in the back portion of where the stage would be located. We would have integrated drainage connection to existing park systems, so we do not have to tear up anything and keep everything as it needs to be and how it drains properly right now. Enhanced site security via expansion of existing surveillance infrastructure, since we know that that is so important at the park, ensuring that everything maintains and stays the way that it was built. Secondary pavilion on the page 2 here. Located near baseball fields, provides shaded seating and shelter for families, players, and park visitors. Again, the renderings there, we'll have that more detailed on the main pavilion with the stage there.
I don't see a drawing of that secondary building. Is that in here or that's?
That would be more of just a lean-to type building. It won't have really anything specialty like this main pavilion does.
Okay.
We can always get that to you after the fact, but Racine County did not ask us to provide that. That's why we really only have this one right now.
Okay. It says then included for your review. Okay.
So community economic benefit. So the project represents more than physical structures. It's an investment in Waterford's future. Expanded programming and events, concerts, outdoor movie nights, performances, church services, farmers markets, craft fairs, food festivals, holiday celebrations, charity events, our car show that we love and so graciously host there every year, and civic ceremonies. Year-round usage for all ages, sports registrations, tournaments, awards, school field trips, summer rec programs, community groups, including scouts, seniors, and veterans. enhanced park operations, new storage facilities for town maintenance and event supplies, rerouted footprints for improved safety and traffic flow, improved infrastructure around adjacent fields and green spaces. Sustainable engineering with drainage integrated into current park systems, space for expanded lighting and camera coverage to promote safety. Partner in maintenance commitment. 100% of the construction costs, like I said earlier, will be covered and donated by the Fishkill Lake Lions Club. Path grading and rerouting included all in our project for the existing pathways. We would do a horseshoe around that back building. We would take your guys' recommendation as well and parks on what you feel best is to do with those pathways, but we will cover that as part of this project as a donation. Ongoing collaboration with the town of Waterford for maintenance programming. And just to kind of cover on our legacy, for those that don't know about our Lions Club, we've been around since 1969. This past year alone, our club donated over 10,000 volunteer hours. And we have raised hundreds of thousands of dollars to go and support children's medical bills in need, local schools, veterans, youth sports, and community safety efforts. These pavilions are a tribute to the people that have made our work possible. We respectfully ask the town to accept this gift and join us in enhancing Waterford Town Park with these meaningful additions. So I did want to run a couple case studies for you. They are brief, but they're there for your review. I will just mention examples. I won't get into detail with them, but they did embody and prolong and enhance not just the current situation of these towns and cities, but the future of them. La Crosse Riverside Park Band Shell, Superior Billings Park Pavilion, Appleton Pierce Park Pavilion, Milwaukee Humboldt Park Stage, and Madison when they have their concerts in the square. It promotes culture. I know that was brought up earlier in this meeting that Waterford can certainly use that help right now. We believe that is one of those things that will not only embody that spirit, but help bring all people together, no matter what their backgrounds is, to encourage diversity. So last page here. Again, appreciate your time. Community engagement, boosted civic pride and participation, year-round programming that appeals to all demographics, economic growth, increased foot traffic, supports local businesses, job creation through event staffing and park operations, improved infrastructure, better lighting, access and safety, long-term utility through durable materials and multi-use design, and hidden benefits, promotes physical activity and social interaction, helps reduce isolation and strengthens mental strength, encourages future development and raises the area desirability. So in conclusion, Fishkill Lake Lions Club appreciates your time and this opportunity to give back to a community that has always given us so much. This project isn't just about building pavilions, it's about building community. It's about creating places where stories are told, traditions are born, and connections are made. Places where businesses flourish, neighbors unite, and future generations thrive. With your support, these pavilions will serve Waterford today and far into the future. We respectfully ask for your partnership in bringing this vision to life. With that also being said, as I mentioned earlier, Racine County is helping us out by waiving their fees. We would appreciate the spirit of community and support if you would consider doing the same, so that all the money that we've so graciously, with hard work, raised the last 5 years to be able to do this, we could put it all back into the park and make it that much better. Are there any questions?
Mr. Chairman, there was a question online. Well, one was about the music events. I think that one's been answered, but the question was, if this has been shared, if this improvement has been shared with the neighbors abutting the park. I don't know if that's the case.
Not to my knowledge,
Okay.
but most of them attend and, you know, once it goes public and the minutes are posted, they'll see.
Okay.
And I believe you can speak on behalf of Lions Club. Are they, when they talk to people, did any objections or anything? The distance away from a lot of the houses is pretty far. It's more centrally located. I know Brad.
I can't speak for any other organizations, events that they might host here, but we always end ours very early for that reason. We try to always be respectful of that and of ordinances that the town have. So we will be talking to them every year that we always make sure we take care of them at the car show just because of the inconvenience with that many cars and spectators coming in. So once we do get through this process, we will be going around again to talk to them. I know there are a couple new houses there also. So we will be talking to everyone, yes.
Have you engaged with any other community groups or organizations to see if their needs, desires would be met by this plan?
Actually, yeah, I did speak out to a couple of the different sporting organizations that are around. They said that they love this. It opens up different opportunities for tournaments, events that they can do for not only registration, but after season events. Especially being with the park with the baseball fields, I know that they can certainly use that area to host larger scale events that would in turn make their program more money to better their program in the future.
And do you have any kind of idea what the maintenance cost on the project would be going forward?
No, I don't at this moment.
Thanks.
I'd like to look to our head of our Parks Department. Kenny, do you have any thoughts, questions,
Well,
concerns?
concern with maintenance, well, it's a steel building. Yeah, there's no maintenance, really, it's all steel.
Any maintenance on the-
We're gonna build it just like the other pavilion that we donated a decade or so ago, even more now. It'll be the same construction, same high grade materials where there will be very low maintenance, if any at all. And if anything, it offers additional space for the town to store anything that you need to maintain the park on top of beyond the pavilions, just the standard day-to-day.
As to the music and noise issues, I think rather than having that be an issue for the construction project, that would be something more for the permitting of those events going forward.
Sure.
Correct, yeah. Any other discussion?
If I may, gentleman mentioned like farmers markets, events like that, which I think are fantastic, but who's going to be in charge of that? People start calling, asking to say, host a
Oh,
farmers
I
market.
think, no.
It's really more of a place for other organizations, other groups to have
We're
that
not involved
space.
in running that stuff. We're
Yeah,
not-
no, this
So we're not
is,
renting
No,
out.
no,
well, you would rent it out our normal process, like when somebody rents the park or like
Right.
baseball uses or when that bike thing uses, stuff like that. They still have to check with you for dates of the availability.
So it
We don't
is,
have that.
okay.
yeah, no, our place as a Lions Club is just to donate this
I know,
out.
I'm just thinking
Yeah.
that's just,
What you guys really kind of, after we build it, what you guys choose to do with it, that is yours. It's just a gift from our club to the community.
no, it just means like we just have more for, that's fine. I'm just saying, like, I want to know who's gonna be in charge of that, and so it's going to be this office, so that's all I.
Absolutely, yeah, we're just here to
How
help
you
donate
rent the
it.
building out now, yeah.
Well, it's different, like, people are thinking like farmers markets, we're used to just doing birthday parties.
Would this be-
Farmers market's a bit different.
Would this be an opportunity for Lions Club to host more events there as well?
Quite possibly, but that's not the intention of it.
I was-
The
I
intention,
was-
no, of course not, but it's really just to give back to everyone because they've given so much to us. So this is us giving back to the community.
Move to approve.
I make a motion to approve the proposal for the building. Got a motion, looking for a second?
I'll second.
A second, any discussion? Call for a vote, all in favor?
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
it still should be put on the planning commission agenda, I'm telling you, and I'll tell you why. Because we always put building plans on the agenda, however, remember the town board can always overrule the planning commission, except for pure permits. Things of that, so I still recommend you put it on the planning board agenda. Town board doesn't like what they say, they can overrule, them, just like they voted tonight. You can do what you want, but I'm just
Yeah,
saying.
the time, I understand where you're going,
And
Mike, but
especially when there are some, at least, the clerk mentioned something that is of some concern, noise. We've had all the things we had with the Hilltop years ago and all.
yeah, the hilltops and the residential thing. This is not-
I know that, I just don't want later for someone to say that due process wasn't there.
Okay, Thank you for your advisement.
Overrule it.
Yes, thank you for advisement, and they still gotta submit the final plans after county to Lee. Work with Leon, obviously, if there's any permitting fees, stuff like that. If they wanna come back to the board and see if those fees, I don't think we've ever waived those fees before. Because Lee's, so,
That's, I'm not even concerned about the fees, I'm just concerned about some neighbor coming in 6 months ago and saying, hey, I didn't even get a chance to talk about this.
well, this agenda's been posted since last week, and if they're, for them, so I guess that we'll have to address that when it comes up. Any other questions, or anything? All right, so it passed 5-0. I only have two things. One is Supervisor Horace mentioned it. I'm working on a social media policy that we will work on here in the future. Also, I will be attending the Racine County Intergovernment Cooperation Council. And for my first meeting for that coming up in the next week. So that's it. Other than that, do we have any public comments that were written or turned in? No public comments, so I'm looking for a motion to adjourn.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
Second, motion second, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, everybody.
Well,